So this will be a session where I'm going over the plans for the house, and what I'll try to do is narrate as completely as possible so you get an idea as to exactly what we're trying to do and the way that we're going about doing it. So here are the plans, and I'll first concentrate on this particular section. So this is an outline of the way that we conceived of the layout of the 2.11 acres that we actually have. So here's the main street that we are actually on, and we've put a driveway in. So there's a culvert over the small little swale that's at the front of the property. The property over here, as you can see in the map over here, is mostly marsh area, and then there's a farm off to the southwest of us. There's a fairly large property right beside us. This is our neighbor's property, and there's a house here and a house there. They used to be part of the same property or parcel of land, and they have been since severed, or at least this piece has been severed off. And then the rest of the property, there's that is the amount of property that's around this particular house, and the rest of the L shape is our neighbors. Anyways, back to the property itself. So it's on this 2 acres, 2.11 acres that you're actually seeing outlined in white here. Where we put a driveway through, and then another culvert here, so that the land to the east of us can drain into the area. There's a small little creek that actually comes down here, and there's a culvert across the street into the actual marshland. The house itself, as you've seen in the rest of the videos, is way back up here on the highest part of the ground, and then the space off to the west of us is going to be meadow with hopefully raised gardens, etc. This was a conception of a pond that we have in here, and then there's a fair amount of built up berm, which is mostly topsoil that was scraped off of this property here, and this is where we've got our garden at this point in time. So we're probably going to leave most of the berm, but the swale is going to has to stay to allow for the drainage into the creek off to the side of our property. Anyways, that's the gist of where we're going, and then most of the septic system is back in here, and you'll see the tank, etc., that's been installed already. So we'll be putting in the lines for the septic bed off in this direction, and much of this will actually be landscapes, so we can take the topsoil that has been dug up from the house itself into the rest of the area. All right, so on to the plans. Let me put some order to this. A1, A2, A3. Okay. I'll edit this down. Let's start up here. So this is the ground floor, and you've seen it in reality. So we laid down a pad, an insulated pad on the ground, and then you can see the outline of the garage that's already been constructed, and then the house itself is in this particular area. So the layout is pretty straightforward. The layout starting from the front door, you'll actually see the stairway going upstairs, turns the corner with a platform in the corner, and then up to the upper level. The rest of the space in here is going to have a front closet, open area. There's a window there, and then there's going to be a lot of storage underneath the actual stairway itself. Leading into, eventually when you turn the corner here, into Patricia's studio with a fairly large window in the front side. And then there's a lot of storage area where she's going to be storing much of her artwork, etc., into this particular storage area itself. Another window off to the side, and then the mechanical room is in behind there, and the doorway is at the end of the stairway, but that'll be, of course, 12 feet up. So you'll be able to walk into this mechanical room, and here we'll have the heating, the underfloor heating, which is already installed. The electrical, the water, all of those will be coming into this particular location. Internet, all of those services. Going back to the little hallway here, if you take the hallway off to the right-hand side to the east, come into my office, fairly large window. I'll be putting my desk and all the computerware, etc., into this particular area. There is a small little washroom down here with just a sink and a toilet. And then in the area back here is the laundry room. We'll have the washer and dryer and those kinds of services. Fairly large counter space, we hope. And then going into the actual garage room, you've got cold storage here in the back corner with some space for bikes, etc., and then a workbench at the back, and then space for two materials. You'll note that the wall around the actual house itself will be continuous, and this is that ICF with additional materials. And so just moving over here, give you a little bit of detail about the actual ICF itself. You'll see that there's a core of concrete, and then insulation, styrofoam insulation on that side and on this side, and then you'll have another 8 inches of thermal wall eventually when it's all completed. So that's the detail of these particular sections all the way around the outside. You'll note that there is ICF with a concrete core in the actual garage itself. However, there will not be an outside thermal wall. That 8-inch thermal wall will not be on the outside of this. As a consequence, this is going to be an unheated garage. It'll still be insulated, but it doesn't have the underfloor heating, nor does it actually have any ability to actually create its own heat, which is why the cold room will actually be placed in this particular location. All right, so that's the first floor. The second floor, and there's more detail in terms of the actual construction of materials and all that kind of stuff, but we won't spend too much time on that because you've seen it in reality in much of the other videos. So here's the second floor, and you'll see that the garage has been covered by a membrane, and then there's going to be a deck over top of that. So we're going to essentially end up with more than 600 square feet of space that we can actually use as recreational space when it eventually gets completed later, hopefully in the spring. There will be a staircase going down the outside, the back side of the garage. You can see that it's drawn into the first floor as well. So it'll be coming down from the top of the stairway, or top of the deck, all the way down to the ground at that end. Going into the house itself, you'll see that there's a sliding door from this bedroom onto the deck, and there's another sliding door from this space here onto the deck as well. So we'll be using both of those means of exit to get to the deck itself. So coming up to the top of the stairs, When you get to the top of the stairs, if you turn left, you'll be in this very, very small hallway that has openings to the bathroom. So the bathroom will have a sink in this location, a large shower room in the backside with a window, and then with a separating wall, we'll end up with a water closet, so a toilet in this area, and then another window to the outside. So those are those two windows in the back that you're actually seeing on the second floor. The rest of this space off to the left-hand side is going to be a bedroom. That's our master bedroom. And on the other side of the water closet, you'll actually see a guest room that is a little bit smaller, but not substantially. Going back to the little landing area at the top of the stairs, you'll see that it opens into a large open concept space, which part of it is going to be designated for a dining room. So we'll put our large table that we've got purchased in Hamilton into that particular area, and then we'll have seating area, etc., with probably large screen television on this wall, etc. Possibly a day bed would be built into this particular location, and on this wall we'll have a pellet stove or some kind of heating source. It'll be secondary because I don't think that we'll need all that much heat for the entire house, given how insulated it'll be. We'll have a fairly large island, and this is all kitchen materials on this side. This is a pantry, a walk-in pantry right at the end here, and it'll be integrated into the rest of the kitchen area. We'll give you a detailed view of the kitchen in a subsequent video. All right, moving on to the outsides. So the basic shape, looking at the house from the east, so looking at it from the neighbor's garage, so maybe I should give you a little bit of direction. So if you're looking at the house from this direction, you will see this kind of elevation. So you'll see the back side having a sloped roof, a shed roof that is a little bit lower than the front side, the south-facing side, which has a shed roof that's moving in the opposite direction. This will be a black metal that you'll see covering that, and most of this as well. Where you see this orange, you're actually going to be seeing a wraparound, horizontally oriented section of metal that looks very much like wood. So you'll see a wood accent in this particular area, but the rest of this is going to be black metal. Looking at the opposite side of the house, so this is looking at the house from this direction, looking over the garage at the house itself, you'll see this kind of profile. So here's the garage. Oh, sorry, this is from the back. So this is looking at the house from this direction, and you'll see the garage on this side, and you'll see the house itself on this side. So here's the garage with the stairway coming down from the top deck. Inside is the cold room in here, and this is the back side. So you're actually seeing my office window, and this is the window in the room with the washer and the dryer, etc. There's the windows in the kitchen, in the toilet and the shower area, and then up above, where you've got this overhang between going back to this building here. So we're looking in this particular section here. You'll actually see that we've got 4 windows. Not sure if we've got 4 windows actually spaced there, but there are a couple of windows that are actually going to be in there, in that space between that lower shed roof area in the back and the higher area so that we end up with some ventilation that's possible up there as well. I think that's all we can see from that particular area. Here you'll see a close-up of the actual garage roof itself. There's the decking, and these are the roofs of the south-facing area of the house and the north area facing of the house. You'll see that this one is a little bit lower than this one, but it moves to the east a little bit more than the actual main house does itself, or main area of the house. This large expanse here we hope to actually fill mostly with solar panels so that we can produce most of our own electrical energy. All right, looking at the house from that earlier direction, so again going back to this earlier drawing, if we look at the house from this direction, we end up with this kind of profile. So here you can see the stairway going up to the top of the deck of the garage. This is the garage itself, and here you'll see the top section of the house with the front door. There's going to be a little roof over top of the front door, so we can be a little bit protected from rain and snow and all that kind of stuff. Here's the sliding door from the master bedroom. Here's a sliding door from the dining area, and you'll see that there's a window set above the door itself. It'll be trapezoidal, irregular shape, mirroring the shape of the roof line, but then also it's going to be parallel. The bottom of it will be parallel to the actual sliding door itself. Right, from the front side of the house, so if you're looking at it coming up the driveway and you're looking at it from the south, you will get this kind of profile. Here you see the garage with two garage doors. This is the section that is obscuring the front door, and then you've got wrapping around with that wood paneling that's metal. There's going to be a metal roof as well, solar panels on it eventually, and the wrapping of the wood printed metal wrapping around the corner here as well. Large window in the dining room, kitchen area, a smaller one by the seating area, and then at the front door, and then in the studio, Trisha's studio as well. And then finally, you'll see interior cross sections. So this is looking at the house from the east to the west. And so here you can see coming into the garage, to the garage doors. We've got the paneling on the deck of the garage. And then coming into the house itself, you'll see there's the front hall, mechanical rooms on that side, the staircase going up. It's actually backwards from what we would normally see. And then at the top of the staircase, you'll see the island there, and the pantry is directly in front of you, so you'll see a wall. And then there's going to be a loft area above the pantry, and we hope to actually make that accessible to our grandchildren so that they have a space that they can actually get into, and there'll be an opening on the kitchen side to get into there. This will be a cathedral ceiling kind of orientation, so that you can actually go up and into there. And here you see the doorway from, I guess, our bedroom into, no, that doesn't make any sense. This is a window, and that's the front window as well. All right, so here we have the north-south section. So this is south and this is north. So you can see here's the front door with a number of coat racks and that kind of stuff inside of a closet. It's labeled foyer, and then you see the stairway leading up into the corner with the landing, and then up to the top floor. Behind this wall that's already been constructed, you'll see that there's a doorway into the laundry room. and then the laundry room itself is going to be there. Upstairs, there's the doorway into the bedroom, and this is the master bedroom that will open off into the space above the garage, so the deck. And here you can see the far wall, the east wall, where you have the kitchen, and those are the two windows, a fume hood, and the refrigerator, etc. That's above the actual counter, or beside the counter. And then the pantry is directly in this area as well. Again, you can see only a wall that's there. More detail in terms of the actual, this is the second floor exterior wall section, so it's showing how the second floor fits into the exterior wall. And that's about wraps it up. So the idea with the entire construction of this house is to be as close to passive house as we can get it to be, meaning that we have to expend very little energy to keep it warm in the winter and cold in the summer, or cooler in the summer. And the idea there is to make it as well insulated as possible, so those changes that are occurring outside do not occur inside the actual construction of the building. We hope to actually decrease our dependency on external energy sources as a consequence. We will not be using any propane or other petroleum products, and will be exclusively relying on electricity, most of which, if not all of which, we hope to actually be producing on site with our own solar panels, and then eventually having batteries that we can actually store excess electricity for those times when it's not being generated because there's either not sunlight or there's other kinds of external forces that are actually occurring. So anyways, that gives you a sense of the house, I hope. And if there are any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Thank you, and we'll talk to you again soon, when hopefully I'm going to be able to show you the roof going on, or the rafters going on, and then the roof shortly after that. So hopefully we get some movement in the next couple of weeks to do exactly that and close off the entire building so we can get to the interior. Anyways, talk to you soon.